In such a polarizing political climate, communication, especially with people who have differing points of view, might seem harder than ever. But in Jen Psaki's new book, Say More, we're given lessons on being an effective communicator from Jen's own personal and professional experiences. She writes, quote, "Difficult conversations are best approached head-on. Speaking across different beliefs requires grace, tact, and a willingness to give up the fantasy of winning in favor of the realistic goal of understanding." Jen Psaki is back with us. I tried to give that a very dramatic read because I thought it was a very important point.
Thank
and it is
you.
something that I've stressed a lot in my political and business career, that being able to communicate is one thing. Being able to listen so that you can understand is something very different. And you bring that together in your book.
Thank you for that. I mean, we all know that listening, I mean, as parents, as people who are interviewing people, is really an undervalued part of being an effective communicator. Because if you're not listening, you're not able to engage. You're not able to invite someone to hear more of what you have to say. Maybe you convince them, maybe you just crack the door open. And that's, I think, part of the message I'm trying to get across with the
I
book.
will be buying a few copies for people who could use some skills on the listening piece of communication. But also, you know, there's always this moment in the life of a mother where you think you've figured it out.
Yes.
Right? And in that exact
Many
moment, yes. And then life sideswipes you.
Yeah.
And there's a specific story you tell where, you know, at work you're dealing with the fallout from the Afghanistan withdrawal. And it is, of course, happening on the same day as the kindergarten open house, which you have absolutely promised your daughter you will attend. What do you do on that day?
It was one of the day. It was the worst day. I don't know if you felt. I mean,
we were on a plane,
it was
coming back.
Yeah, it was the worst day, of course, of the Biden administration when I was there. Whenever you lose men and women serving your country, it is the worst day, and you could feel that in the room and in the building. It was also my daughter's kindergarten open house, as you mentioned. And this is the thing that's such a tricky, balance is not the right word, I almost hate that word, thing as a working parent, as any parent, where you're trying to figure out how to be present. And that's another thing that's such a key part of communicating. So I spent the morning in the Situation Room. We're talking about how we would respond, what people would do. I knew I had to do a briefing letter that day. And I literally didn't tell anyone I was leaving. Not because I was trying to sneak out, but because it felt smaller than what was happening in the building. But I snuck out, and when I got to my daughter's open house, I wanted to be present for her. It was a terrible day. We were incredibly emotional. I didn't need to put that on her shoulders. And we spent about an hour at her kindergarten. Actually, her teacher said to me, "How are you here right now?" Right? And that really touched me in the moment. I didn't know her yet, but I made it back just in time to be there to help prep the president for the remarks. I couldn't prep for my own briefing, but it's just a moment that for me kind of exemplifies this tricky balance, again, not the right word, but thing that so many parents go through as they're trying to be present in so many aspects of their lives.
But can I take that to another level? Is that what you did something that a mom would have to do or does versus a dad in that position? Because I think that's always an interesting dynamic in the conversation about parenting and being a professional person.
I'm so proud of you, Michael, because this is such an important point. Thank you for
look,
saying this. No, you're right.
No, I remember as a dad being lieutenant governor, my son's going through certain things, and that push and pull. But, you know, a lot of it had to do with how my mom raised me to be present, because she was present. But that's not always the case. So I appreciate that story, because I think a lot of people kind of lose sight of the fact that you realize I have two responsibilities here, and my goal is to meet both.
Yes, and sometimes it's hard, it's not possible. I do think there's a physicality of being a mother. I mean, you know, as parents, you have emotional connections. Your heart does live outside of your body with your children, as we all know, including when they get older, I think. But I also tell this story in the book about being almost 6 months pregnant and Dennis McDonough, the White House chief of staff, calling me about going back to be the White House communications director. And I felt in the moment, he clearly doesn't know I'm pregnant. I predetermined for myself he would tell me good luck with life after he found out. I also worried about a little bit of the judgment that I would have on me. And I think this is something that mothers and women deal with in a different way, because of course they're carrying the baby, so you can see, and that I worried that mothers and women would judge me for going back. and being the White House communications director in that moment. It really took Bill Burton, who we all know, telling me, this is part of your daughter's story, too, which is true. And I think we all experience this. Like, part of her story is that I was the White House communications director and the press secretary, and she met the president. She's met 2 presidents. It also is important to be present under kindergarten open house, but you can also value what you're exposing them to. And that was almost like a freeing piece of advice for me at the time.
I just love that. There are so many great stories in the book, and I think the through line for folks, so folks go get the book, okay, buy the book. We have one at the table, okay, get the book. One of the through lines is that you talk about navigating. You talk about communication, but also the backdrop of all of this is navigating through this all with relationships and motherhood. And in terms of communicating, there's a story that you told when we did Morning Mika that's in the book about telling your daughter that you're going to go back and work at the White House and you're going to work for President Biden, and you thought that this would be a great moment to talk to her about patriotism. Yes. And, you know, the children will humble you, honey.
Oh, my God.
They will humble you.
They will. You know, I mean, it's like...
My stepson regularly, he's like, well, I don't think that's good.
You know, your stepson is about the same age. When I took my daughter was about 5 at the time. I had spoken with the president and the White House, or the incoming White House, about coming back and serving this job that had long been my dream job. And I thought I would use it, to your point, as a moment to teach her about service and patriotism. I took her out to get some frozen yogurt. If anyone's been to Sweet Frog, it's like, it's magical and also can be disgusting at the same time. It's like 12 flavors and gummy worms. Anyway, it's so good. I kind of want it now, but she had one of those. And I basically said to her, you know that nice man, Joe Biden, who won the election? He asked me to come help him, which is a really weird thing to say about an incoming president. You were part of helping him win. You know, and that means sacrifice, and that means I'll be away from you a bit, and that means sacrifice for you, and you're sacrificing for the country. Does that make sense? And she was like, nope. I was like, okay. And it really took, I continue the story, it really took her coming to the White House, experiencing the turkey pardoning and also tasting Sprite for the first time and meeting the president, when her favorite takeaway, of course, was that she loved Sprite, not that she'd met the president. And also that he made great cookies, obviously. But it took that experience to really show her that she liked my job. And experience and how you make people feel, as we all know, is such a big part of communicating.
It's a huge part. It makes a difference. Jen's new book.
Just a real quick on the Mother's Day point on the communication. You reminded me of something my mother told me when I was 14. She said, "Boy, you just need to shut up and listen."
Yeah.
And that is the heart.
That's the title of your book. That's going to be coming out.
Trust me, yeah.
I love this.
I didn't shut up too much.
Such a good story, especially in advance of Mother's Day. Jen's new book is out now. It's called Say More, not Shut Up, but say more. Just today, lessons from the work, the White House, and the world.